H2O Army. Today, we're unboxing the largest shipment of plants I've ever gotten. So stay tuned. Alright, what is going on, guys? We are here. We got the package behind us. I'm actually set up. I got a close-on cam right here at the table so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to have the live stream going on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook or Instagram, you should be, because we do a lot of behind the scenes there as well. So if you want like daily updates or daily content on what we're doing outside of the videos that we upload to YouTube, you should check those out. Links are in the description, as well as everything is down in the description below. If you need to get plants or you want to check out the equipment that I'm using or anything like that, always down below. So, without any more delay, I'm going to start up the live stream. We're going to get going live and we're going to start unboxing. I'm going to show you guys what we got in today in our largest shipment ever. So, alright guys, so what I wanted to do here is, this live stream was probably about an hour and a half long, so rather than sit here for an hour and a half and edit together a video that would be really long, I figured I'd go over it and kind of just do a little voiceover as I'm unboxing. If you guys want to check out the full live stream, by all means head over to facebook.com/H2O plants and you can check it out there, not a problem. But first up, we had some tissue culture plants. A lot of different tissue cultures we got in. We got some Alternia renaki, I'm probably butchering that name. We got purple and mini. We also got lots of moss, Christmas moss, flame moss, pearl moss, and there's another one. Can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a couple different mosses there. As well as there was also dwarf hairgrass mini. That was in the bunch here as well. So we got a bunch of different cups. Oh, and Rickia as well. And so pretty much I'm just going through showing the camera here. All pretty nice stuff. There was one that actually had some mold on it that I had to toss, unfortunately. But that is the name of the game with some tissue cultures there. So next up we have some not aquatic plants, actually. They're carnivorous plants. So there was some sundew, some Venus flytraps, and two other ones that I don't know the exact name of it. And I'm just kind of showing the plants off here. They're actually quite nice. I actually have them sitting over here in the window actually behind me on the video. They are chilling there right now and doing quite well. Guys, hold on a second. I know you are enjoying the video and I know you want to continue to watch it, but I don't think the video has enough likes. I feel right now, while you're watching this, it has less than 150 likes. I think we need to get it over 150 likes. If we can do that, that would be awesome, and it would just prove that the H2O Army is growing. And if you're new here and this is the first time you're seeing these videos, well, welcome. And you should continue to support us and watch the H2O Army by hitting the subscribe button. And if you haven't, ring the little bell so you get all the notifications on future videos like this one. And guys, I will see you in the rest of the video. Enjoy. Also, you know, keep in mind, this is the biggest shipment we got, and to start it off with, we have this giant Anubis heterophilia, or heterophilia. The plant is absolutely ginormous. It barely fits in the 40-gallon breeder, so if you guys ever need some really big plants and it's maybe like a 120-gallon tank or a 75-gallon tank or something that you're really trying to get like large plants from, feel free to message me, let me know, and I can probably get you in some bigger sized ones. Typically I like to sell small to medium and just borderline large. And that's just because a lot of people, they don't have huge tanks, you know, they're rocking with a 20-gallon or a 30-gallon or a 40-gallon, 55 maybe. But after that, they don't really have too much anything bigger. This right here is called the banana plant. We got about 12 of those in there, and some were missing a couple of leaves, but all in all, they'll do pretty well. They usually sprout new leaves relatively quickly once they're introduced into a tank. This right here is Anubis barteri, I do believe. Yes, Anubis barteri. And this is just a larger form of Anubis Nana. If you want Anubis Nana but maybe have a bigger tank, this is what I would go with. It can get rather large over time, but it's a bigger leafed Nana essentially. And what I do here is I actually tie it with some weights, bunch it up and tie it with weights. That way it kind of sticks down in the tank, because they go in the tank, they don't really have a substrate and they just kind of chill there. So the weight helps them keep right side up is what I'm trying to say. Next up is Anubis Coffee Folia. Very similar looking, although it is a much darker leaved Anubis, and it also has ridges on it. And this particular plant, this is the large one of it, so these are quite bigger than the normal sized ones that I normally carry. It's usually mediums on these, but I decided to order large. Next up is Water Sprite and Water Sprite Lace. Both very similar plants, same genus, I guess, or species. They're just different variations. If you ever need a plant that is good for fry or shrimp, Water Sprite Lace, because of its thin leaves and how meshed it gets, is going to be really good for that. A lot of people often ask me if I have guppy grass or other plants that would be great for fry, and oftentimes I refer to Water Sprite because it is so versatile. It floats, you can plant it, it gets ridiculous side shoots going on, and overall it looks very beautiful in the tank. Right here is some Anubis Aphyzelli. This plant is a shorter Anubis with a beautiful red rhizome, and the leaves stay relatively short. They are narrower than, say, like a Nana, but they're very beautiful. They add a whole lot of color due to that red rhizome, and it's one of my favorite types of Anubis, especially for like a smaller size tank. It is definitely what I would put in there. Next up, we got a bunch of plants here. I think I'm tossing out some more Anubis. Let's see what this one is. This, I believe, is Anubis Frizeri. I'm probably butchering that name. It's a new Anubis that we just got in. It has a pointed type leaf, as you can see. Yeah, it's a nice variation of Anubis if you're looking for different styles of Anubis. That's another one that we haven't had, so I decided to get that. Next up is moss balls, and there are just a ton of moss balls here. Great beginner plant, pretty hard to kill. Good tip with that is rotate it every once in a while. Next is Red Tiger Lotus. This is one of our best selling plants, but do keep in mind this plant is very delicate. Usually what happens is the bulb will come detached from the plant itself. That sometimes happens during shipping, that sometimes happens in the tank. I normally try and stick in plants that have plants growing, or bulbs that already have plants growing out of them, and it can come detached. That's fine, just put the bulb in your tank and normally it'll sprout back up. Next is some Anubis Nana Petite, and this is just one of the most beautiful Anubis there are. Very teeny tiny. It's nice sized portions, and they really add character to a small scape with a lot of little detail there because there's so many little leaves. So they could get very robust in a small style aquarium, which I think Anubis Nana Petite is perfect if you have anything under a 10-gallon tank. That's what I would recommend. There are other forms of Anubis Nana Petite. In particular, there's like Anubis Nana Petite Mini and Bonsai, and another one called Coin, and all these other variations. Also Pinto, which is one that I have that's white, and I have the most beautiful picture up on Instagram by the time you're watching this of a just full-on white Anubis Pinto. It just came out all white for me. It's absolutely amazing. But I really like the Anubis Nana Petite. I actually want to do a cool miniature scape with it. I think it would be cool. And the goldfish tank that I want to do for Lucky is going to have lots of Anubis. Not particularly Anubis Nana Petite because it's too small for goldfish. They'll definitely eat it up. But I want to put it in another tank. Next up is some, I believe this is contortion valve. Yeah, so this is the bigger version of corkscrew valve. Keep in mind, valves tend to melt very easily, so when they're shipped, they can go through some stressful moments. Usually when you put them in their tank, in a tank, they'll bounce back, but sometimes they'll melt all their existing leaves. So don't worry if it does die on you. And that right there was dwarf sedge. Just simple dwarf sedge, good carpeting plant, but there is a better one which we'll get to here in a bit in the video. Next up we have some beautiful Java fern. This comes in on mats normally. We stick it in the tank and I just trim it off, well, portions as I need to send them out to you guys. Java fern is one of those plants that produces babies from its leaves. So if you ever get Java fern, you put it in your tank and all of a sudden the existing leaves start disintegrating, it's going to produce babies off of the initial leaf, and it will soon be all throughout your tank because you'll get tons of Java fern babies. Next up is 4-leaf clover and 4-leaf clover dwarf. If you're ever going to get a really easy, fastish growing carpeting plant, these are the two that you want. The regular 4-leaf clover I would suggest for any tank over 40 gallons, and dwarf anything less than 40 gallons. They're just beautiful plants, but what's going to happen here is all these leaves you see on here are going to melt away. That is completely normal. They're all going to disappear, and you're going to be left with leaves that are about 1/4 of the size of the plant that you're looking at. So they're going to get really, really tiny on you, and they're going to look great carpeting. This is actually their immersed form, but they do great transitioning. I've had very good success with them. As a matter of fact, I put a couple in my 55 gallon, and within 2 days, I already saw like 10 runners coming off of it. It was crazy. It went from 0 to 10 in literally 2 days. It was awesome. I actually plan on doing a species spotlight type video of these or something in that realm, demonstrating what it is here. So normally what I do is I've been giving 2 portions per order with this particular plant, just because I feel like 1 portion is a little not enough value. I like giving people value when they order, so if I can give you extra, I do. So even though it costs twice as much and all that, because I give 2 portions versus the 1, I think you get better portion sizes, and that way you can divide it up within your tank and really get some nice carpeting effects going on. So what I do is I tie them with the lead weights just to keep them together. Next up is Vallisneria plants. Now, I have a couple different valves here. We got Ruby Red, Italian Val, Jungle Val, and I believe that other one is Corkscrew Val that I just threw down all the way on the right. In my personal opinion, this right here is Ruby Red Jungle Val, and it is the best looking. It has a much broader leaf, and it has a much more vibrant green color than regular Jungle Val does. Jungle Val has a darkish brownish green color to them, and they're not as hardy as the Ruby Reds are to me. Honestly, the Ruby Reds do so much better transitioning, and from what I've seen of them, while Jungle Vals will sometimes melt completely back, and you'll have to wait for them to regrow. Ruby Reds, I've seen very little melting. Sometimes the tips of the leaves melt, but you don't lose entire leaves from them. So it's an amazing Jungle Val. If you're worried about it, it could do fine in low light. It just turns red under highlight, which is a nice little perk, because if you have if you ever upgrade your tank or upgrade your light, it's great. So here's the Italian Val. This is my second favorite Jungle Val. The reason being is it has a much narrower leaf than Jungle Val, and it also has that nice vibrant green color that Ruby Red gets. However, Italian Val does not get any sort of red color. That's only exclusive to the Ruby Red version. But Italian Vals is another good one. They're much narrower leafed and they look really well. And so you see, you have Jungle Val, Ruby Red Jungle Val, and Italian Val. And then here's a Corkscrew Val. So this is the miniature version of the Contortion Val, which we just showed a little while ago. And these probably are the, I guess they're the not so hardy Val out of all 5 of them. They tend to melt a whole lot. So if you ever get it in your tank, don't worry, just plant it, let it go, and usually it'll come back, but you will lose most of the majority of the existing leaves. Next up is some Anubis hostifolia. This is a beautiful plant for bigger size tanks. Even though this looks relatively small, it does get rather large, and it is very nice. I would suggest it for people that have goldfish, cichlids, any type of big fish like that that's going to pick up plants. Anubis with big leaves are ideal for you. Next is the Anubis lanceolata. It is very similar to Anubis avzelli. It has long, narrow leaves. However, this one gets a way bigger compared to the Anubis avzelli. Next up is some giant hairgrass. Giant hairgrass is great. It's one of those background plants I would recommend for every tank, because when it comes to trimming valves, if you get a valve as a background plant, you actually damage the leaves by cutting it straight across. As opposed to giant hairgrass, you can trim it straight across and it doesn't do nearly as much damage as cutting a jungle valve leaf off at the top of it. Jungle valve leaves should be removed from the bottom of the rosette, where giant hairgrass, you can just trim it like regular grass, hence the name. It's absolutely amazing. What I do here is I pretty much tie them up with the metal too, so that way I can keep track of how many portions I have. Sometimes you lose track, especially when you have so many plants. And since I know you don't want to sit here and watch me tie all of these giant hairgrass together, I sped this up for you. You're welcome. Now hit the like button if you haven't. Do it! Did you do it? Okay, moving on. So next plant is, drum roll. Can I get a drum roll? I don't even know. Will I add it in post-production? Let's see. Who knows? Oh, this is when I take out a bunch of crypts and a bunch of swords and lay them all out. And yeah, so we got a ton of them. So the first crypt up here is Crypt Parva, if I do remember correctly. Crypt Parva is a great foreground crypt plant. It actually, over time, and I mean ancient times, you'll be able to get a carpet going of these, but it will take forever. You'll probably be in your grave before you have a carpet of Crypt Parva if you like only start out with a few. But if you start out with a lot, by your midlife crisis you may have a full carpet. Who knows? Next up was, I forgot. Oh no, that is Crypt Parva still. Okay, so we're good there. So the next one was Crypt Spiralis. This is actually a new plant that I got in just to try it out here. And it just has spinning leaves. It's not the same thing as like Contortionville that has like a vertical spin to it. This has more of just curly leaves that all branch out everywhere. Pretty cool plant. And then next is Crypt Balanase, and they look similar here, but the Crypt Balanase, I believe, is it needs to transition a bit more, and then it should be good. But overall, very similar looking plants. Just Crypt Balanase is a little less spirally, if that's a word. The interesting thing about crypts too is they go through like some sort of dormant stage where sometimes, not all crypts, but sometimes some crypts, they absorb their leaves back as if they were a bulb type plant to store that in the roots, in the rhizome that is below the substrate, only to emerge new growth. So it's, crypts can be a little tricky, so don't get discouraged if you ever see your crypts disappear on you. It's happened to me a couple times. Next up is Crypt Ponderfolia, right? Ponderfolia, something like that. Very beautiful plant. It is more sturdy, if that, I guess that's the best way to describe it. Like, it's more sturdy than other crypts. Like, it's very just built. It's a nice, robust crypt, and it's great for either mid-ground or background. It does get on the bigger side, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking for like some sort of something that looks kind of like a sword but isn't a sword, I would go with that. Crypts are great because the way they propagate is if you leave them planted long enough, they send out offshoots, and then you can just break them off and plant them elsewhere, and you'll have whole new plants. Most sword plants don't do that. They do it through a vertical shoot that then babies then come off of. So crypts are great if you want to propagate them and have more and more of them. Also, what I'm doing here is similar to the other plants that you've seen. I'm tying the lead weight onto them, that way they sink. Next up are two Crypt Wenditties, Crypt Wenditty Green and Crypt Wenditty Brown. They also have a Crypt Wenditty Red, although those are, they're kind of hard to get. Sometimes the nursery's out for quite some time. So the Crypt Wenditties are the most known crypts, I'd have to say, out of all the beginner hobbyists. That is one that everybody knows the name and everybody has. Also, here's Crypt Lutea, and this is another good crypt. Looks almost similar to Wenditties, but they have a much narrower, longer leaf than the Wenditties do, so I like Lutea. I actually like Lucian the best. If you look up Lucian on the website, Cryptocorn Lucian, it comes in, I mean, I sell it in either single plants or like clumps of it. But the clump, it gets like 20-30 plants. Like, I only advertise that it has 3 on there, but it has a lot of plants. And it looks really nice. I have some in the 55 gallon, which I'm going to show you guys once we go through the 55 gallon more in depth. Next plant here is some Amazon swords, and since this is going to take forever to tie up, I'm going to do you a favor and speed it up 2 for you. Well, you got to love what modern technology can do. I just turned a 10-minute clip pretty much into 10 seconds for you, so you're welcome. I appreciate you, you appreciate me. See how this works? And then we went over some Crypt Red Rubens there. Crypt Red Rubens are great little sword plants. They get reddish colored leaves with green veins in them. Then what we're doing right now is Kleiner Bar Swords. Kleiner Bar Swords get a beautiful red leaf, like absolutely stunning. As a matter of fact, I went and got one out of one of the holding tanks right now to be able to show the live stream. Did I show? Yeah, I kind of showed you guys, but it's a little too fast. But it's really cool. If you want to check it out, head on over to the website, or I'll post some pictures on Instagram and Facebook and all that. So yeah, so Kleiner Bar Swords get this dark red color to their leaves. The green is all immerse grown, but sometimes they can fade to the greenish color over time. So don't be worried if your sword goes from vibrant red to not so red and then green. That is typical of older leaves. Next up is the most beautiful small sword that I've seen, and that is the Rosette sword. Basically, it's just a really short sword that gets really bushy, so it's great for like a mid-ground focal point. And it also has these little tiny points on the tip of its leaves. I think that's hence why it's called a Rosette sword, because it resembles barbs on or thorns on a rose, and that is what it has on the tips of its leaves. Keep in mind, they're not actual thorns, they're just pointed leaves, but they look really nice, and they have this beautiful kind of texture to the leaves that is just really unique, and I like it. It's one of my favorite swords. I really want to put one in my tank. I just don't have any space for it in the 55. And that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for checking it out. I hope you hit that like button earlier, and if you haven't, why don't you do that? As well as subscribe if you're new, because if you are watching this video, you might want to enjoy the rest of our content that we do with weekly live streams and all that good stuff. And if you recall to last week's episode, I did say that I was going to give away $20 to somebody that left a comment, and somebody did leave a comment. Marnie Griffith, probably butchering that, I apologize. You won $20 to the store with your comment. That said, the editing was very good, and I have such lovely plants. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. That video took me over 8 hours to edit and another hour to film, so it was almost a 9 to 10 hour project. And that's just because my first video editing program wasn't working, so I had to get a whole new one, and that was a whole big deal because I had to learn something all over again. But luckily I picked it up in like 2 hours. And yeah, so leave a comment below today and let me know which plant you found to be the coolest, and that way I know you made it to this part of the video. And I think that is about it. I will pick another person to win $20 from next week's video. And the lighting down here really sucks. I need to get new lighting, which will be coming soon. Anyway, guys, I will see you next time. later.